Hello friends, and welcome to our pre-full moon meditation for the very important sign Capricorn. The actual moment of the full moon is, well, in another roughly 8 hours, a little less, 4:52:08 in the morning, a.m. GMT. So I hope some of you will be able to join us at actually 3:45 a.m. GMT, where we will have a broadcast for the actual full moon moment. My wife Tuya will be leading that. It will be a meditation service broadcast. So write me if you don't have the link, and I'll be happy to provide it for you. Well, this is perhaps the most solemn time of the year, especially in the northern hemisphere. And I think, since the head center of the planet is geared somewhat to the North Pole, we have, as far as the planet goes, we use the zodiacal signs as they are found in the northern hemisphere. And this is our deep winter season, and it is a time for deeply interior consultation with that secret factor within us, the inner consciousness, the soul, that which we are on the higher mental plane, and which has at its root the spirit, which we even more essentially are. In the midst of that egoic lotus, which is our unfoldment over many millions of years, the symbol and center of our unfoldment is the monad itself within the central fire, the jewel in the lotus. And that is that jewel immediately connects it with the diamond of Capricorn. The diamond shape is of Capricorn, and it represents that crystalline structure in the midst of the central fire, which, as we move towards our higher possibilities, begins to unfold. As the petals unfold, the synthesis petals of the egoic lotus, that blazing jewel is revealed, a seven-faceted jewel, releasing principally 7 energies that correlates very well with the sign Capricorn, with its bringing in greatest strength of the 7th ray at this time. So indeed, in Capricorn, the highest and the lowest do meet, and there is the will of God, the conqueror of death, the will that conquers death, manifests fully in the etheric plane and on even in the dense physical plane. Capricorn, a sign of great density in one way, but that density is the supremely ethereal nature. One can even connect it with the sea of fire. Then the highest and the lowest will meet, and hopefully in our own lives, the highest and the lowest will meet at this time as well. And we will be in a position to help humanity understand the law of God, the will of God, as we pass through what promises to be a very shambolic year. Tuya just gave a webinar to the group in New York, and she emphasized very much the Shambhala nature of this particular year, the 14 years it takes for the Shambhala impact to really ground and manifest itself. It's liable to be a year of great trial, and so if we can uphold the presence of the will of God in the consciousness of humanity, we will be in a position to help humanity conquer the death of an obscured consciousness, because that is the real death of the spirit when it is immersed in the lower worlds and loses its consciousness. Here in the banner we have, of course, the two planets Saturn, which are the exoteric and esoteric rulers of Capricorn, and also Venus, which is the hierarchical ruler, the symbol of transfiguration, the movement of our consciousness up into the higher mental plane, and the response of all of our vehicles to that supernal light, of which Venus is one of the radiators. The symbol of Capricorn, the glyph, nobody really knows it. It's said to have more power if rightly drawn than the pentagram, and more dangerous than the open pentagram, as it would let in forces which we would be ill-equipped to handle. But the true, who knows, maybe in his next teaching, Master DK will give us more of the secrets of Capricorn, the secrets of the soul. The Jafra illustration shows us with both old age and youth. They say humorously about Capricorn people that they get younger as they get older, and they're born old, The goat on top, in the full radiance of the sun atop the mountain, really should be a unicorn, a white, triumphant beast that has overcome all sense of duality. And I think sometimes at this time, the effort to overcome duality meets with success, because if you think about it, all this moves towards the mountaintop of consciousness, and there's that single point which is found within every other point of consciousness. This is the key to find that which is always present in all modes of consciousness, and which unifies all modes of consciousness into the appreciation of oneness. It is one of the synthetic signs, and so it goes so very, very deep. I hope we're able to take advantage of the pressure of the spirit in Capricorn. Just to say a little bit, this is Francis Donald's beautiful illustration here. It is within the utterly clear capstone of the ancient pyramid, and a kind of realization of the oneness of spirit and of the rising sun is to be appreciated in this illustration. What I'll do is just to say a few words from it. Francis has very kindly provided us with two illustrations. There's no time to go through both of them, but one of them I want you to see anyway, even though we can't really describe it. It is the path to the top of the mountain, or at least this hill approaching the mountain, where a great teaching can be received from the master who resides within this Gompa, as it is called. The Master DK does give us a kind of a visualization in which we are to travel together into up a hill and towards his home, and there enter into a low wooden room where there are 3 windows, and there we are to be in his presence and to meditate and to recite the great invocation together and bless the world. Something of this illustration suggests that. But the one that is more Egyptian in nature is the one from which I will read a bit. It has some marvelous symbols. This is Venus atop the pyramid. This is the Aquila, the eagle, and also the falcon in a way. Aquila is strongly connected as one of the great constellations with the 3rd decade of Capricorn. It represents initiation. Here, of course, is the the candidate, and I'll read more what Francis has said, but just so you get a picture of it, and the fact that the capstone, really, of the pyramid is utterly clear. Sometimes we wonder why that capstone is missing, and we do wonder whether there were these kinds of structures atop the pyramid 60 or 70,000 years ago, when the pyramids were actually said to exist. So as the sun pauses for a moment on the horizon, we step inside the pyramidion, the capstone of the Great Pyramid, and there is the sun, in a way, pausing on the horizon, but there's more to it. There are Egyptian symbols within that sun. A rare moment in the life of the disciple is unfolding before us. We see, and these are DK's words, the emergence of the consciousness of the initiate, white and one-pointed, that's the unicorn, and the defeat of the king of beasts, the personality, the triumph of selflessness and illumination over selfishness. The king of beasts has been blinded. At least his two eyes are blinded, and the sense of duality is blinded and killed by the piercing of his eye and heart. The doctrine of the eye and the doctrine of the heart by the long horn of the unicorn, and here we see the candidate for initiation actually on the lion's skin, and he has indicated that he has conquered his own bestial nature. The lion and the unicorn, an old nursery rhyme, DK tells us, the unicorn does win at long last. He is white, one-pointed, and his single eye has become not only a great organ of illumination, but a weapon as well in the cause of good. So, initiation, the new unicorn, this is called. So he kneels, and that is the Capricorn way of approaching divinity, on your knees, exercising a true humility, which sometimes is hard for some Capricorn types to exercise, but eventually it is the sign which sees all things in proportion, a true humility. For only, says the Tibetan, when the Capricornian subject learns to kneel in all humility and with his knees upon the rocky mountain top, to offer his heart and life to the soul and to human service, can he be permitted to pass through the door of initiation and be trusted with the secrets of life. Not only of the soul, but the secrets of life, per se, of the great first aspect. And in this way, Capricorn becomes the conqueror of death. Only on his knees can he go through that door. So some of you who are involved in lodge work, you will understand some of the methods of entering into the sacred space. He offers his heart and life to the soul. And by means of a mudra, sacred mudra, which is illustrated here by Francis, this will represent the wheel of the zodiac as it turns in the counterclockwise position. So his inner vision opens. The two horns have become the unicorn's great horn of plenty, revealing to all the riches of the universe, revealing to the single eye all that is hidden by the eye of duality. It has been occultly said, says the Tibetan, that a vision of these powers and their many weaving lines, seen as rivers and streams of light, is given to the initiate from the mountain top of Capricorn, once that summit has been reached. It is at the transfiguration initiation that this vision appears before the eye of the astounded disciple. And, you know, the fifth ray, of course, is ruling the third initiation, and is also ruling the edge and the center in many respects, through which the horn of the unicorn comes. But the third ray is there as well. This is the third initiation, and Capricorn brings in this potent third ray, and as a result we see all of the network of interlocking energies at these moments of high solemnity at the peak of our consciousness. We see further, as Francis tells us, on the altar before our disciple sits the crocodile-headed god Sobek. Okay, let's see if we find him. There he is. Okay. And I think there is here a little, I think we can see a bit more. There it is. It's an enlargement, okay, also of the mudra, of the candidate, and of the power of his unicorn horn as it goes out towards the sun. And here is the god Sobek, which we will hear about now. It's a crocodile-headed god, and this reminds us of the Makara, doesn't it? Because Capricorn rules the Makara about which there is great mystery. It's the mystery of the solar angel in relation to the personality and the redemption of the crocodile by that great angel. I mean, DK has told us we can't really know what that mystery is, but so many different ways have been looked at it. It has been seen. Venus is said to ride the crocodile, to stand on the back of the crocodile, and that is a perfect symbol of the guiding soul directing this the crocodilian personality nature. The crocodile, the goat, the unicorn depict three stages of man's spiritual unfoldment in Capricorn. Sobek, with its two horns, Uraeus, and solar disk, carries attributes of all these stages, and we could make a study right on that alone. Thus he hastens the dissolution of the outgrown form, and certainly at a time when Pluto is in Capricorn, the dissolution, the destruction of the outgrown form is happening right in our midst, and over the next, well, what is it? It's going to be just about 11 years remaining of the forerunner. These forms will be destroyed and dissolved. When linked with Heru, the falcon-headed principle of spiritual ascension, and so here we have the falcon, the eagle in a way, and Sobek, so the link between them. When linked with Heru, the falcon-headed principle of spiritual ascension, he becomes a potent transformer of the primal force needed in preparing for initiation. And they are, for this reason, both Sobek and Heru, here depicted as a descending falcon, surrounded by the constellation Capricorn, offer the Ankh, the symbol of life. And that Ankh, of course, is Venus. We recognize it. And if you were to look right behind the eagle here, we have, interestingly enough, the triangular-shaped Capricorn. Why should it be triangularly shaped? Well, in a way, Capricorn is powerfully representative of the third aspect of divinity. And in a way, it rules all the five lower planes under Saturn. It rules the realm of Brahma. But also, it's an ambiguous sign in a way because it deals with the fatherhood of God and also in a way with the motherhood of God, because it is one of the negative signs, at least earth and water, as we hear it. So the great constellation, if you've ever seen it in the sky, it's a really large constellation. And if there are lords, well, there are lords of constellations. I would say that the lord of the constellation Capricorn is highly developed. We know how the planets themselves are at different stages in the unfoldment of their consciousness and in their initiatory status. And this would also be true of the lords of the constellations. And Capricorn is listed all by itself outside the zodiacal sphere as one of the most potent of the contributing centers to the development of our solar system. So I think we're dealing with a very high deity and also a super constellation behind Capricorn, unnamed really, which at the time of the new group of world servers work stimulates Capricorn to provide that last 7 days from the 21st to the 28th every 7 years. We just had it last year. Let's see, last year 12, so 2019 will be our next opportunity. Amazing forces are pouring through this sign. Well, there is more to be said. I'll just, go slowly here, and when you get the video of this, you can freeze it at this point, and you can see some of what Francis has written here, and you can write to him directly, and you can find that. I found this very interesting, that the on the back of the robe of the initiate there is a sun, and it has 51 lines of force. And I realized that the septile aspect, which happens when you divide 360 degrees by 7, you get about 51 and something 24 minutes, something like that. The 51 is the septile. And we have 51 lines of force because they are also the lines of the Great Pyramid. As it says here, the sides of the Great Pyramid are set at 51, 51. So we have here again the symbol of the number 7, the power of Capricorn to make spirit manifest in matter. The white belt, the symbol of triumph in Scorpio, and there are deep meanings here. I will not go through all of this. I'll simply say that students of the ageless wisdom need a great strengthening at this time. We have many forces ranged against us and against the progress of the world in a materialistic sense. Capricorn, as you also know, is one of the most materialistic of the signs, and the forces of materialism are returning in force, and they're also using the plutonic energies as well, and the energies of Vulcan, forging weaponry, and any energy can be used positively or negatively. We have to be strong, and strong together. There is a sense in which, many of us were kind of kindly people. We love, we search for cohesion in everything, and we believe that man is essentially good, and essentially man is good. But there is the power of the will that is required of us at this time, as at perhaps at no other time in human history. We are about to make a great transition into a new age, a double new age of 2160 years and also 25,000 years. This must go well, and it will require the strength of every true student of spirituality and lovers of their fellow men in order to bring this about during the trials that lie immediately ahead. So if we can possibly use this sign to realize the great sacrifice of will which the Christ made in the Garden of Gethsemane when he relinquished his own will in favor of the will of the Father. And this was such an act of sacrifice in a way, such an act of acquiescence, to agree really to stay for 5,000 years with the human race when the normal term is only 2,500 years. A great revelation came to him in that garden. And we have to strengthen our own will at this time so that whatever our degree of unfoldment might be, whatever our limitations might be, we can say to ourselves, Father, not my will, but thine be done. And when we say it to our true inner self, we're saying it to God the Father, because our true inner self is that monadic nature at the very heart of our soul. So if we can find ourselves together strengthened at this time, the Capricorn energy will have done well with us and with our groups. And what amazes me is we talk about group, and you'd normally think about Aquarius, but the law of group progress, or it also called the law of elevation, is ruled by Capricorn. And if we are to move together as members of the new group of world servers with group progress, then it is through the power of Capricorn that we will be elevated in our groups, and through the elevation of our groups, we will assist with the elevation of humanity. So, there was one more thing that I wanted to show, if I may. Dwayne Carpenter, also a wonderful artist. I see this is maybe not as big as it should be, but there we go. He's given us the picture of the mystic goat and its relationship to the trees of life, and the five-pointed star of the Agnes Center and of the fifth ray, and of the fifth grade of hierarchy there at the very brow of the goat. The color green being so important. So when he does something on one of the signs of the zodiac, I do like to show it. The first ray is there, the third ray is there, and the seventh ray is there. But above all, at this time, it is the seventh ray which comes through Capricorn most powerfully. Okay, friends, I think I've said enough. Of course, we could have a whole lecture on the subject. The idea is to find the secret of the soul within ourselves, which is the secret of the unicorn. And if we can find that, then we'll stop just talking about the soul, and we will live as the soul from the mountaintop of our own consciousness. And it will be a subtle state of realized oneness from which we will be obliged by the revelation which has come to us to return into the valleys and bring the revelation, whatever we can share with our fellow human beings, bring it to them, and for them the way will not be so dark. Just as the Masters have done for us, so we can do for those who maybe have contacted less of the great light than we may have through all of our studies and our meditation and our commitment to the spiritual path. Okay, friends, we're not far at all from the full moon. We're just, let's see, it's 11:25 here, and that starts at 6:52, so we're just about 7 hours and a half from the actual full moon. So we are in the period now, no longer the day of confidence, no longer the day of aspiration, or even the day of dedication. We are in the period 12 hours before the full moon and 12 hours after, in this period of safeguarding, of receiving and of holding the energies which come through Capricorn and its associated rays and planets which we want to make real to ourselves. And then in the following 3 days, we register that which may have happened. We have this astral sense of expectancy, and finally we confirm it in the brain with a belief that has really anchored itself within our etheric physical nature. So we will then begin our meditation, in which we will try to contact some of these ambient energies and make them real to our self. We are the soul in incarnation. We are a projection of that higher consciousness, which is more fully itself upon the higher mental plane. And we try to pull back from our normal identifications, the body is an instrument, the sentient vehicle, astral vehicle is an instrument, the lower mind is an instrument, and we are the observer, the controller, the director of that threefold instrument. In fact, we recognize that as the observer, we are something deeply interior. We are the soul itself. We are consciousness itself. We are a unit of being consciousness. And we are related to every other member of this group and to the new group of world servers, men and women of goodwill, in fact, to every human being as a soul on this planet, whether in the body or out of the body. Try to get a grasp of that. There is but, finally, one soul. Know my soul or thy soul, as we learn in the 5th rule for disciples. We do not use the thought, my soul and thine, because we know that we are one being with one multifaceted consciousness, the 10,000 eyes of Argos. This one being has millions of eyes, but it's one being. millions of eyes, of apparent individuality, individualities, and also of sets of eyes, millions, and millions of single eyes as well, in process of cultivation ever since the first initiation. So as if we stand on top of the mountaintop of our own consciousness, we feel this unity. Geography makes no difference, space makes no difference, even time. Time makes no difference. There in fact is no difference, essentially. We know naught is but me. The greater me, which is the soul of humanity, but if it's more than that, and still more than that, and still more. There's only one great I or me in the entire cosmos. Naught is but me. Every day, maybe a few minutes should be spent trying to realize that that is so. We are in the great field of multidimensional consciousness. We are one being, and we have one consciousness at many different grades, all the way from the consciousness of the atom to the consciousness of the universal logos. It's all one soul. Capricorn, it's the time to realize that. One. The 10th sign, it sums to one. But for practical purposes, we also have to focus on the plane of mind, which the will of the soul strengthens, that point of tension on the plane of mind. And we can feel it in the center of our head and on the mental plane, a point of tension fed by the will of the soul in its sevenfold nature. This point of tension from which a projection will be made, and from which a visualization will arise, connecting us to the inner and higher realms of our own nature. We are filled with a type of will, sevenfold will, in our mental focus, which is soul-infused. The will to initiate, the will to unify, the will to evolve, the will to harmonize, the will to act, the will to cause, the will to express. Together, we are infused by those aspects of the will. And as we reach into the higher and inner spheres via the Antakarana, which expresses principally two colors for each of us, the color of our soul ray and personality ray, red ray 1, indigo ray 2, green ray 3, yellow ray 4, orange ray 5, rose ray 6, and violet ray 7. We imagine those in this group now meditating the cone-like rising of our own individual strand of the Antakarana, accompanied by all the other strands rising as if towards a blue-white diamond which we can symbolize as the monad. As it rises through the spiritual triad, that area of planetary consciousness where we embrace with a reflection of the mind of God, a reflection of the heart of God, a reflection of the will of God. We embrace with all those our entire planet. We are participating in the building of the group Antakarana. Imagine your own colors, or the color indigo if you're not yet sure of the soul personality, rays and colors. And this multi-colored rainbow bridge rising cone-like or going interiorly to the center of the sphere, however you choose to see it, the diamond in the sphere, the diamond above the cone, whichever way. And we are together somehow setting ourselves up to be responsive to the energies of spirit and to spirit's expression as spiritual will, spiritual love, spiritual mind. So with great concentration, we will project beams of radiant white light towards the spirit in imagination, and we will use the second ray word of power, I see the greatest light. And we'll do this mentally, as outwardly we sound the Om 3 times on the second ray note. This takes us, at least in imagination, into the unfettered enlightenment of Shambhala. Is that great center where the will of God is known. And we will respond in our own measure and power of receptivity to the divine purpose there found and its expression in the divine plan which must work its way out through the 7 ashrams, in relation to one of which we are cooperating, whether we know it or not. That will, that purpose, that plan can work out through us, through our groups, so we can make a difference and impact and actually bring through from the highest to the lowest something of value for the emerging New World civilization. What we've done really is to at least imaginatively penetrate into the worlds where the Master's consciousness is always focused. And this is triadal consciousness. The Masters we work with, especially then the Buddhic consciousness of divine love and harmony, and the consciousness of Atma, the spiritual will, where some of the first ray ashrams can be found. And we are in, at least imaginatively, their world. And we cooperate with them. And they strengthen us in our service, our work, our understanding. And so we express our solidarity with the spiritual hierarchy of the planet. This form of salutations was given by the Tibetan in some of his meditations to his group. We will use it, offering our salutations to the great lords. Salutations to the Christ, the Master of all masters. Salutations to the triangle of masters with whom we work most closely. Master M, Master KH, Master DK. Salutations to the Master Morya, the head of all esoteric schools and organizations. Salutations to the Master KH, whose ashram is preparing particularly for the reappearance of the Lord Maitreya, the Christ, the great Lord of Wisdom, KH. Salutations to the Master DK, who has given us the blue books and the work with H.P. Blavatsky, and who trains aspirants for initiation, for the first 3 initiations. Salutations to your own Master as you know him to be or conceive him to be. Salutations to the entire spiritual hierarchy of our planet. And so as if in these worlds of triadal energies we make an imaginative attempt to touch as a group that realm where the one fundamental school of occultism is found, that realm where the will of God is known, and where the great King presides, the great presiding one. We open silently as a group to as much of his purpose as can impress us and all those who in group formation are open to his energy. And a long and inwardly silent Om offers us to receive his impress of the divine purpose as much as we can. Inwardly Om. It's at this time that his role as the Ancient of Days can be particularly impressed upon us. The ageless youth and the Ancient of Days and the Great King, through all the three major first ray signs, describe his function, but not entirely. Every sign of the zodiac is his, but these three particularly, and now the Ancient of Days. If we could but remain aligned with the divine will of our soul and of the triad and even of the monad, we would be capturing for expression something of the will of God which must manifest through this potent first and seventh ray which Capricorn brings. So now we will prepare to move on our journey towards the energies which are available at this time. We visualize the indigo sun, because it is there that we will meet the consciousness of Master DK, at least imaginatively, that great expert in the solar and hierarchical energies. There we will fuse with his consciousness. A golden stream or path of energy leads into that indigo sun, as he has taught us to visualize. And we are not people, but we are one being fused at a point. Thus we can visualize ourselves a point of light and love and power. And this point of radiance, of great loving magnetism and of spiritual power and will, hovers above the golden path. We are together. Time and space mean nothing right now. We are together in being and in consciousness. And as the path shortens, leading into the indigo sun, we ride with that path. We move with that path as it is absorbed into the great indigo, the color of the most powerful ray in our solar system, the indigo ray. And there in the midst of this sea of indigo, we allow our consciousness to be pervaded by that of Master DK. When we think of the rays and the planets and the constellational energies now available, our thought will receive a lift, an expansion, a sensitization, because our consciousness is at least imaginatively suffused by that of this highly knowledgeable master. And We can make these energies real to us. We can receive them. We can, in a way, wield them. We can look towards the rulers of Capricorn, towards the planets Saturn and Venus. Saturn, both the exoteric and esoteric ruler, first, and we need it, conveying the discipline to honor all of life's duties and karmic requirements. We still have many of those, and we have to honorably, correctly fulfill them, doing our duty, fulfilling our responsibilities, which is the first sign, we are told, that the soul is making its impact, the sense of responsibility. And then we will look towards Saturn in its esoteric nature, conveying the resolve, for there's so much first ray in Saturn as well as third, to live according to the laws of the soul. The 7 laws of the soul, 5 of which we can understand. And thus, fulfilling not only our karma, but under esoteric Saturn, our dharma in the divine plan. What is that dharma? Our part of the plan. That which we as souls came, yet again in incarnation, to fulfill. The exercise of spiritual responsibility through exoteric Saturn what are our individual responsibilities? What are our group responsibilities? When we know that and live that, we will truly be living the life of the soul in the 3 worlds, according to the influence of the soul. Our groups need Saturn, and we can imagine Saturn as if in the midst of our group, bringing every group member into an attitude of spiritual responsibility and also of mundane responsibility, as those responsibilities reflect the inner responsibilities. How do we need Saturn? Let us see this energy through the color green being absorbed into our groups. See everyone strong in the fulfillment of their karma, leading into their dharma. And we will sound a note, the Om, on the note F, the Fa note, the green note, to see absorption of Saturn into our groups. How much stronger we would be, every one of us, if we could look into our charts and fulfill Saturn within the individual chart and look into our group charts and fulfill Saturn there. So Saturn is ambient, Saturn is available, Saturn is strong now. In spiritual will, it rules the atmic plane. And when we come to the esoteric meaning of Saturn, it's about the divine plan. It's about that which emerges when the hierarchy thinks of divine purpose. Conformity to the divine plan as the hierarchy formulates it in relation to the atmic plane. What is our real role spiritually in the divine plan? And as we learn the true meaning of voluntary sacrifice, the unseen, the hidden sacrifice, we will be animated by the spiritual will. We will be ruled by higher Saturn, the instrument of Lord Brahma within our solar system. It will work through our sacrifice petals. It will work through the head center. It will eventually anchor itself, finally, at the very base. So what are the sacrifices we are ready to make for the divine plan? Madame Blavatsky said that occultism must win the day by the end of the 21st century. What role do we have in helping the ageless wisdom be established in the consciousness of humanity so that humanity may be rightly directed? We bring the still greater responsibility of Saturn to the divine plan and the fulfillment of our Dharma into our groups. May our groups fulfill their Dharma. And we'll sound again on the note F. The very presence of Saturn is with us. There's a strengthening of that planetary ray now. Saturn is here through every one of the planets of the solar system, and especially strong at this time with respect to the Earth. So let us move then into a consideration, interestingly, of this orange planet, Venus, carrying so much of the fifth ray, and yet of the second and the sixth as well. And this is the truly occult rapport. This is the subtle rapport with Venus, the hierarchical ruler, bestowing according to its final monadic ray the quality of pure spiritual love, and bringing that love into union with spiritual, luminous knowledge. Love and knowledge, producing wisdom, the union of the heart and mind. our heart, our mind united. Our ajna, our heart united. Wisdom, supernal light, thinking in the heart, loving with the mind. We feel the deeper nature of Venus, bringing our solar angel closer to us. As we look into our charts and find the meaning of Venus, it holds the secret of how to invoke the solar angel, how to bring it closer into expression in our lives. The secret of the soul can be revealed, and the intended fullness of solar angelic energies can enter and be released into the spiritualized personality. So we pause to imagine this Christ presence, this great angelic presence, forming on the higher mental plane the angel of the presence, yet in its own right, as solar angel, still freer within the cosmic ethers. And we breathe in as if to absorb the quality of Venus, and with it the growing presence of our solar angel, abiding with us until we rise to the stature of its feet. The solar angelic presence felt acutely in Capricorn. A sign so connected with angelic life, strangely connected. It's the love that humanity needs, the love of Venus. Venus triumphing over Mars at this time, a necessity. And maybe we can be infused with this Venusian Capricorn energy and represent before humanity, before the people close to us, before everyone we meet, the solar angelic presence. Maybe we can do that. Eventually we will do that. And so as we imagine the flow of Venus into the souls of our groups, we will use a different note, an indigo note. We will use the note A. It's an indigo note, it's a fifth ray note, and it's the note of attunement. So imagine Venus flowing in, being absorbed by the souls of all in our groups and by the group soul. When the full moon moment comes, do remember Venus in a higher mode, in an angelic mode. Now imaginatively, having thought in the direction of Saturn and Venus, we think towards the great blue Logos, which in Capricorn rises upon the mountain top, the symbol of initiation, the sun upon the mountain. We can visualize that, the great mountain of initiation with the sun rising just above it, coming in touch with the great God of love, who is a consuming fire of love. Every time we see the sun, there is a physical vehicle of the solar logos, a representation of the great God of love, the indigo blue logos. We breathe in that love wisdom because every one of us is a unit within that life, a point of Buddhic energy within the overwhelming Buddhi, divine love of the solar logos. God is love. And this too, when we come down from the mountaintop of our own elevated consciousness, whatever that elevation may be, we can express this great fact of the rising sun upon the mountain. God is love. I suppose only those who are overwhelmed by divine love can realize at those special points that love is God. And this we can bring. But further we go toward that great triangular constellation, a mighty constellation, outstanding when you see it, not because of its brightness, but just because of its presence. A great triangle in the sky, the light of initiation beams from it. This is the light which clears the way to the mountain top and produces transfiguration, thus revealing the rising sun. The light of Capricorn revealing the rising sun upon the mountain top. And strangely, the rising sun is also the midnight sun of initiation. The sun at the heights, the sun in the depths, it's all the same. And we become solarized in Capricorn, the sun ruling the final decade, the decade of initiation, and we are actually in that decade. We're in that decade now, with Vulcan and Mercury assisting. We focus upon the unicorn, the energy quality of Capricorn, bringing the great ceremonial ray of magic in greatest strength, and the third ray of active intelligence for all disciples, and the first ray of the imposition of the will of God, that will which conquers death. All these from Capricorn. The will that conquers death. We're all dead in some ways. Our consciousness is not fully alive. We are not fully radiant yet. And there is Capricornian will that conquers this non-livingness in parts of ourselves. We can do that. Let all become alive, filled with supernal light on the peak of our consciousness, breathing in the supernal light which reveals the oneness, which reveals the synthesis. Lost am I in light supernal, yet on that light I turn my back. Where is the lower ego in light supernal? Lost is that which I considered I. Lost am I in light supernal, yet on that light I turn my back. And we will be in silence now with this phrase, this great mantra, preparing for the actual moment of the full moon, working now to bring down from the realm of the cosmic ethers some idea of the meaning of this and some way to apply it. Lost am I in light supernal, yet on that light I turn my back. Lost am I in light supernal, yet on that light I turn my back. universe is light. Light of different frequencies and densities. All the lower worlds are frozen light, but a light supernal awaits us at the peak of our consciousness. And for that light, the world is in great need. The lower worlds. So who will carry the light from the point of realization, the point of revelation? Who will carry this light down into the darkened valleys of the land? Lost am I in light supernal. Yet on that light, I turn my back. And even if we have not made it to the mountain top which lies ahead, we can still revolve upon the pedestal of light and turn the other way. And then the 7 points of light within us can transmit the outward streaming radiance, and lo, the face of those upon the darkened path receives that light. For them, the way is not so dark. Behind the warriors, twixt the light and dark, blazes the light of hierarchy. And as the hours approach towards the full moon, let us intensify our sense of the supernal light to be contacted on the mountaintop of our own consciousness, whatever that peak may be. For a great stream pours through now. The stream, really, for our purposes, beginning from the one about whom naught may be said, within the Pleiades, itself much connected to Capricorn, pouring through even Draco at this time, the great dragon, Capricorn and the dragon, indeed, guarding the treasure, and into the heart and the head center of this nameless supercosmic logos. The zodiac plays its role in that heart and the head center, and Capricorn is one of those petals. The constellation Capricorn is a powerful petal. Streaming forth, let us say, into our solar system, where our solar logos absorbs it and sends it out to Saturn at the conventional boundary, and to Venus, the little sun that stores its lights, stores the lights of the solar logos within itself, and to the Lord of Venusian love, who is Sanat Kumara in Shambhala, where these energies are grasped, assimilated, distributed to all monads at this time, and we all are that, and to all souls at this time, and we all are that. And through the diamond of the soul, into the diamond of all the chakras, into the diamond of our own heart and the head center, and eventually making its way from Shambhala hierarchy, the Christ, into the very base of the spine, again a 4 like the diamond, and the highest and the lowest will meet. And we will know something of the will of God. We will have something of the power to conquer death. We will be able to cross the water of glamour and illusion, and we will really represent the plan as individuals, as groups, this one spiritual esoteric group in the world, working within the new group of world servers ideally. We will fulfill our duty. And uphold our resolutions. We will be resolved to be servants of the plan in all humility. And we will rise through kneeling. So looking out into the world, strengthened by all of these energies, strengthened by the sense of the rising sun upon the mountain, we see many troubled areas, troubled. Scan the world, and there is trouble. Because after all, there's a great house cleaning going on right now, under Pluto and Vulcan, in preparation for the first initiation of humanity, in which Capricorn will be so important. So where shall we direct these Capricornian energies? Where are they most in need according to our own estimation? Locate in your imagination the place which needs this expression of supernal light, in a way translated so that those who are in trouble can understand. And visualizing such a place, such a condition, send as a group, all of us, this Capricorn energy from the peak of our consciousness to throw great light and clarity into those places so that there may be alignment with the plan rather than deviation from that which is good. Maybe create a mantra in your mind to help resolve the problem of this location on the earth. And as we sound the Om together 3 times, we'll use it on the second ray note. Sound inwardly your mantra and see a better relationship occurring. Right relationships occurring under the law, under the plan, in that place where there is friction and trouble. This is a solemn time. Some of the highest energies available to humanity are now available. The secret of the soul is with us. The great avatar is with us. A synthesis is occurring. And the plan is making its way into manifestation. So, as we sound the great invocation together, we have to think of how to distribute these energies so that all may take advantage of them, and under the law of elevation, which is ruled by Capricorn, all may be uplifted. I'm just going to assume that everybody knows this. I usually get it up here. And here it goes. I have it. So we will sound the Om first, and then 3 Oms, distributing the light, the love, the power of divinity to humanity. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Thank you, friends, for being with us for this pre-full moon webinar. Remember, 4:52:08 GMT, Greenwich Mean Time AM. We're not far at all. We're close. Just another 6 or so hours. I've sent you the link for the exact full moon broadcast. It starts at 3:45 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, and it will be a broadcast which will be a meditation service. Tuya will lead it, and we'd love to have those of you who do not have your own full moon activities already planned. You're most welcome to join us. I do apologize if my voice went off on the ethers somewhere in the middle of this. It occasionally happens, but I hope most of you stayed, and I trust I came back. And there will be a video of this, audio video of this, and it will be pretty full from my video, even though it may not have been recorded on the other. So let us work with this Capricorn energy. Those of you who are going to be awake, and those of you who are going to be asleep, you work with it too on the other side, and make sure to be up for the moment of the full moon. DK tells us that it's an opportunity which is present at no other time, the exact moment of the full moon, and Capricorn being so mighty at this time. So, friends, farewell, and we'll be seeing you in the mind's eye at the time of the Capricorn full moon. Thank you for joining us. Many blessings, and some of you, I hope, will be able to join us for our broadcast coming in about 6 hours or so. We'll see you now. Bye-bye. All the best. Bye-bye.